Rumours about Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull and replacing George Russell at Mercedes from the next 2026 season are louder than ever before Silverstone Grand Prix. So what is really happening on a driver's market? Let's check the facts first. So the fact number one is that Max Verstappen is probably unhappy at Red Bull these days. So Red Bull lost Adrian Newey to Aston Martin. Red Bull has also constant struggles with their second driver, and Perez, Lawson, and Tsunoda were nowhere and not gaining any points for the team. Also, there are bad politics inside the team with questionable relationships and power battles between Marco Horner and Jos Verstappen. But what is the most important? The car pace went downhill, and even Max Verstappen can't win races anymore. Also, 2026 will be the massive regulation change. And without Newey, without Honda, with very own engine, there are not very good odds the Red Bull will be better next year. The fact number two is that George Russell's contract with Mercedes has not been extended yet, and therefore there are talks that it may be because of Verstappen replacing him. The fact number three is that Russell also publicly said that Toto Wolff is in talks with Max, and before his Formula One career in 2014, Mercedes already wanted to sign Verstappen to their young driver development program, but Max and his father decided for Red Bull instead. So we know that Toto Wolff regrets this and wants Verstappen in his team. But why rumours about Verstappen joining Mercedes next year doesn't make any sense. Firstly, Verstappen has valid contract with Red Bull until end of the 2028. Of course, there is surely some performance clause in that. And let's work with idea that may be activated based on current poor Red Bull form. It still doesn't make any sense for Max to choose Mercedes. 2026 will be the new cars and new engines, and you simply don't know what team will be on top. It probably won't be Red Bull, but what about Ferrari? Martin with Honda and Adrian Newey brilliance. The best option for Max is to stay with Red Bull for next year and watch everybody else, or take a vacation, do some GT3 and Nürburgring races, or spend some time with his and Daniel Kvyat's kid and decide which team to choose for 2027 based on their actual performance with new cars. But Mercedes is surely offering multi-year contract only, and committing to big unknown is simply silly. 27, he could stay with Red Bull if car will be competitive, go to Aston Martin and replace Alonso, or even replace Hamilton at Ferrari. Both will be out of contract after 2026. It makes sense for Mercedes to chase Verstappen for all costs, but it simply doesn't make any sense to let Russell go. Yes, they are saying that Antonelli is their future and he is the best rookie so far by a big margin, but never beats Russell yet, and Russell is winning the races. He was as good or better than Hamilton in their seasons together, and he stopped doing mistakes he used to do. Why let go perfect and still only 27 years old driver? It may not work with Antonelli, so better option for Toto Wolff is to keep George Russell even next to Verstappen and lend Antonelli to Williams or Alpine for a year or two. Remember, Alpine will be using Mercedes engine. They are struggling with their second drivers too, already replacing Jack Doohan this year, and not very happy with Colapinto currently. Yes, Russell and Verstappen hates each other, so maybe it's George Russell who doesn't want to extend with Mercedes. If Verstappen is coming to the team, he may want to avoid being beaten by Verstappen and destroying his career. But what I think is, at least for the next season, Verstappen will stay in Red Bull, and he will be watching how each team will perform under new regulations. And I also think maybe George Russell already extended his contract, but it only wasn't announced yet as Toto is solving the situation between Max and Antonelli. It's because George Russell received AMG F1 road legal hypercar from Mercedes, and that's something you are not giving to the driver leaving the team. What do you think?